between the sea and the mountain, and between the courtyard and the garden. Nature is intruding everywhere.
What I liked about Hassan Fathy's approach, he said, describe me your way of living, your life, what you do. And that's why he made a place where the common space is more important than the rooms are rather small and pretentious. They're not huge dressing room, bathrooms. It's very modest, very human size.
We were living up in the mountains here in a finca called Mortic, and our friend was Sir Philip Dunn, who had the property next door, which is now a golf course. And we used to go and see him, and he said, why do you live up there in the cold? Why don't you come and build a house on my property? So we said, we want to stay friends, so we don't want to build on your land because in the end it will all turn out badly. Oh, he said, well, why don't you buy the property next door? Then we contacted the owners who said, oh no, this is not for sale. I'm going to build 2,000 apartments there. So we went on living up in the mountain, and then about 2 years later, we were contacted by the children and said, our father has died. We've divided the inheritance. Would you like to buy it? But you have to decide now. So I said, yes. I didn't know where I was going to get the money. So we put the other place up was for sale, and luckily we found a buyer immediately. We saw an article about Hassan Fathy, the great Egyptian architect, in a magazine called Architecture d'Aujourd'hui. And as I knew the editor-in-chief, I called him on the telephone and said, listen, I've just done an article about Hassan Fathy. Where can I contact him? He said, it's very easy. He's sitting in front of me now. So he passed him over to me, and I said, look, we would like you to build a house for us. He said, where are you? I said, we're in Mallorca. He said, yes, I know where Mallorca is.
We didn't want to make a fake Possession Mallorquina. I lived 2 years in the house built by Ludwig Salvador of Austria for his mistress, Catalina Omar, which is called Sestaca. And I lived there with my first husband, Domenico Nioli, who was a great friend of Ben. And we had that in mind, white architecture by the sea with domes and cupolas. And also when Michael Douglas bought the house, he came here because he wanted to renovate Sestaca, and he renovated Sestaca taking ideas from here. So that's why the two houses are like sisters by the sea.
And we lived here as a family, and we used to bring friends here. Had friends staying in the pavilion, staying in the guest rooms, which were now where we live in the guest rooms.
What people think is like a swimming pool down there, it's not. It's actually, the stage is below the arches, and we put chairs there, and the children were playing. It was a theater.
I was more involved with the shape of the architecture of the sloping walls and seeing that they would be done in the way we had hoped for. I was more involved with installing ceiling. The Mudéjar ceiling is on the top floor, which we had been able to buy through a local art dealer, Antiquario. But most of the things, the garden was also more Yannick's side. Generally, we agreed on main things. I also involved mostly with the musharabia, the screens, because I had brought an Egyptian turner, which Hassan Fathy had given us, a wood turner, and he made some models on the lathe here. And then he took the model to Manacor, which is a village on the other side, where there are professional turners. So they have machines, you can put a model on one side, and then the machine repeats that same form as many times as you want. We have been married now for 50 years or so. We argue like all couples do. Generally, we manage to see eye to eye.
Life is short, and
art is long.
Art is long.
Life is short, art is long. I'm 95 today, it's my birthday today. People say, well, what is going to happen, you know? You're so old, what's going to happen to all this? other people will change things. Not while I'm alive, because I will stop them, but when I've gone, they will change things around, they will move things around, they will add, they will subtract. That's normal, that happens, you know, this generational change will happen, and it must happen, because otherwise I would be doing the same thing as my father, but I'm not.